Hello, I'm Sarah, otherwise known as Yarnmugs on Instagram and Ravelry. Welcome to my 16th podcast. This is my podcast where I talk about my crochet, knitting, sewing, and other things I'm doing at the moment. I say I'm on Ravelry, but I don't really use Ravelry. I use it for buying patterns. I used to put my finished projects on there, but I don't anymore. So yeah, I'm on it for just buying patterns really. Today is the 2nd of August 2021, and it's a really nice day. In fact, I'm a bit conscious of the sun coming round. I always film in my conservatory, which in the morning is generally quite cool, but today I've got the back doors open, and beyond that fence is the train track and also the motorway, so it might be a little bit noisier. So I might have to keep shifting around if that sun keeps coming on my face. So I hope you're all well. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for all your lovely comments as always. Really appreciate everyone that messages me and watches and likes, all of those things. So thank you so much. I was just trying to look back at the last podcast notes just to see what I talked about, and I think I was mainly chatting about sewing and all the dresses that I've made, but today it's going to be quite focused on crochet, with a little bit of knitting. First of all, I'll talk about what I'm wearing. I can't remember if I've ever worn this. I think I've shown it, just to remind myself what it is. I think this is it's the Rosa bodice, and there is bust darts, but they're in the wrong place, and there's no waist darts. It's quite loose fitting, and then I've added on the hinterland skirt. Let me just check. I think that is what it is, Rosa and hinterland. I'll just stand up and show you. So it's quite loose fitting. I'm not very happy with it. I don't like the neckline, and I made other dresses where I changed the neckline. It's got a facing as well, which doesn't really lay nice, and I think I probably could have benefited from having waist darts because it is quite loose. And I added in really sweet contrast blue pockets. It's a nice easy dress to wear, apart from this neckline that makes me a bit uncomfortable. The fabric was a gingham cotton, and I bought that from, it was a new company at the time in February, Hey Sew Sister, and it was £20 for 2 meters. So it's all right. I've made a better dress since, but it's fine. Okay, so let's get on with the other things I've been making. Since I last spoke, I volunteered to be a tester for Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful, and she has created her first pattern, crochet hand warmer mitts. I'm just going to put them on and then I'll explain a bit more about them. Oh, they are lovely. If you've watched Ali's podcast, the yarn she has used is so pretty. This is lovely. I mean, it's autumnal, but her yarn is really pretty. It is a fantastic pattern. It's so quick and easy. Oh, look, the sun on it there. It's so neat. It's lovely, neat thumb hole. It's adaptable. You can make the rib, and I think next time I'll do it, I would make the cuff longer. You could make that bit longer as well. It's got my favourite stitch pattern, which is the back and front post trebles. Although her, I'm saying trebles, Ali's pattern is written in US terms. I'm using UK terms when I say treble. Oh, they are lovely. Perfect. And the idea behind it was from during lockdown, working from home, working on the typewriter and getting cold fingers. They are the best mittens I think I've ever made. They're lovely. The yarn I've used is from Martin's Lab, Comfy DK. It's 100% merino in the colourway Poltergeist. And I bought this yarn from I think my first Edinburgh Yarn Festival, so I've had this for quite a while, and I used about 50 grams. It is a fantastic pattern. I just want to make sure I'm saying the name of the pattern right, but I will link it below. I think it is up now, and it's a fantastic pattern with lots of links to videos. It's really brilliant. Let me just check. I should have checked first before I came on. Oh, that's rubbish of me, isn't it? Heath. She was going to call them the Heath mittens, but then I think it's the Heath Hand Warmers. Yeah. Heath Hand Warmers. Sorry, I'm so rubbish. Yeah, so I will link it down below, her pattern on Ravelry. But it's fantastic. I can't recommend it enough. And I can't wait to make more, especially when it's only 50 grams. Like I say, it's so adaptable. It's a brilliant, simple pattern, really clearly written, so fantastic, row by row. Yeah, well done, Ali. Really brilliant pattern. And perfect mittens. Can you see them well enough? This colour is sort of like a dark grey with all of these autumnal greens and oranges. It's lovely to work with. Yeah, so that's the first thing I made. The last few podcasts I've mentioned a couple of crochet cardigans I was making where I'd run out of yarn, and I think I said last time how the lovely Alyssa from America found the yarn and sent it to me. So I just wanted to show you that I've got a finished cardigan. So this is the Sunday Funday Cardi by Iron Lamb, and it's using Cascade 220 Heathers in the Shire colourway. I'm going to put it on to show you. It is so lovely. Now let me just tell you what I did, because I think I made this one. Let me just make sure I get the right. I've got my little notepad with all my this year's projects with my little notes in. Oh dear. Where is it? Okay, so yeah, so I made this in the size 14. So I knew it was going to be sort of a more fitted cardigan and wasn't going to come across my chest. So it's quite a short cardi. It's a bit longer than I'm thinking now I should have made it a bit shorter. It is lovely. I made the cuffs much longer because I wanted to use every bit of yarn up, and again this is my favourite front and back post trebles, UK terms. Oh, it's lovely. It's so nice. It's very warm. I love this green. Can you see it well enough? It's a fantastic pattern. It's going to be lovely and warm. So this Cascade 220 is 100% Peruvian Highland wool, made in Peru. I blocked it just by soaking it in the sink with wool wash and I think I just laid it flat on a towel and then laid it out in the garden a few times when it was sunny. It took quite a long time to dry. It feels really soft to me. There's no itching at all. Oh, it's really lovely. So yeah, I'd highly recommend that pattern. This took 5 skeins of yarn, so 500 grams. I used a 5mm hook, and the amazing thing was that I'd already had 3 skeins of this yarn, and when Alyssa sent it to me from America, it was exactly the same dye lot. I could not believe that. How amazing is that? So yeah, managed to get all out of the same dye lot. Oh, look, you can see it in the sunshine. There's sort of it feels like flecks of gold or yellowy bits in it. It's quite tonal. Oh, it's lovely. So yeah, I made this in the 14, and then I started to make another one, and I thought maybe I'd go up to a 16 just so it'd be a bit bigger here, but in fact it's fine. It's so neat. I'm so pleased with it. I love that. So yeah, I'd highly recommend Sunday Funday Cardi. Again, another Cardi that's quite adaptable. You make it as long or as short as you want. And like I say, the fact that I've done really long cuffs, I'm really pleased with that. It's going to be very cosy. Yeah, really lovely. Excellent crochet cardigan pattern. So I just said I'd started another one as well, and again Alyssa sent me the yarn for that too. Now this one, just move some things about. This is a navy version. Let me just see again what I did about that. And again, I carried on using the 5mm hook, but I made the size 16. And this is using Debbie Bliss Cashmerino Aran. And it's 55% wool, 33% acrylic, 12% cashmere. So it's very soft and squidgy. So I've got exactly the same amount of yarn, 500 grams. But this is definitely coming up shorter. So I haven't finished this yet. I've finished one sleeve, but the sleeve is shorter. I'll just show you that. Oh, actually, that would look nice with my navy dress. Yes, yeah, so just so you can see, it's just a little bit bigger over the bust, but the cuff is shorter. Yeah, now I'm thinking maybe I should have gone up a bit shorter, but just so, because that's really what I wanted it for, so when I wore a dress it would be sort of on the waist. Yeah, just that little bit bigger. Doesn't necessarily feel bigger in the sleeve or anything. It's not looser. I just think I've got a bit more fabric. Yeah, so a bit of a shorter sleeve. I had to keep an eye on how much yarn I had left, and then knowing how so that my sleeves would be exactly the same. Oh, now I haven't worked on this for a few weeks, but it's so close, isn't it? It won't take me long to do that second sleeve. It's quite the sleeve sort of starts here and it works up really quick. Yes, I'm really pleased with that. How lovely just to have a navy and a green cardi in your wardrobe that will go with nearly everything I've got. Again, it's lovely, very lovely fabric it's created, but I absolutely love that. So yeah, that won't take me long at all. So this is all I've got left, one and a bit of yarn left. But yeah, that's lovely yarn to work with. I'd get that again. It's funny though, isn't it, how different yarns work up. Let's have a sip of tea. Can you see the sky there? Amazing, isn't it? That's the lovely thing about this glass room, even though it does get really hot. The fact you can see the sky and the changing clouds. Amazing. Don't look real, does it? So Alyssa sent me all of that yarn, and she also sent me some yarn gifts, which she really didn't need to do, but I'm so pleased with them. Just what I'd show you. So she bought this lovely, and this is, what's it called? Malabrigo Rios, and I've heard loads about this yarn when I watch American or Canadian podcasts. It's in a lovely blue. In fact, I've got yarn a bit like this, the colourway, that Pirates Bay travel knitter yarn. Oh, excuse my phone. And it's in the Bobby Blue colourway. Yeah, I'll do that. So yeah, what is this? This is worsted weight, 100% merino. It's so squidgy. That would make a nice hat. Oh, lovely. To have something chunky. I was going to say about those two cardigans, they're in Aran weight, which is sort of a bit like worsted, isn't it, I think? Yeah, so yeah, worsted weight, beautiful blue yarn, tonal, perfect. I love yarn like that. She also sent this one, again, I've seen this a lot on podcasts, Sweet Georgia yarn. And again, this is, this is a DK weight, and the colourway is Tumbled Stone. Again, it's sort of like a taupe beige, stone colour. That's lovely. All lovely and soft and chunky. Then she sent this beautiful Manos del Uruguay, and this is 75 merino, 25 polyamide. I'm trying to think if this is sock weight yarn. Does it say anywhere? I'm not very good at judging, because sometimes I think, well, yeah, that looks a bit thick, but maybe it's fingering weight. But it is the most beautiful colours. Isn't that lovely? And it's so plump. You know, when people say that, it really is. It's like, boy, really squidgy. Maybe it's DK weight. I don't know. Anyway, it's lovely. So that's definitely going to be something around the neck, because it feels very, very soft. Beautiful. And a really special luxury treat. Juniper Moon yarn. Pure mulberry silk. 100% silk. Oh my goodness. It really is drapey. It's so soft. And I don't know what I want to do with this, but it's really precious and luxurious. Thank you so much, Alyssa. That is so generous, but beautiful. So yeah, a few new bits of yarn. While we're talking about yarn, I might just mention something else. Someone local to me, a dyer, has stopped her business, and she's called Mint Bee Yarn. And I remember buying yarn from her from my local yarn festival a few years ago when we were having yarn festivals. And on Instagram she put that she was closing her shop and she was selling off her yarn in the sale. So I had to get some, because she does such beautiful colours and beautiful yarn. So this is fingering weight yarn, and it's in her superwash merino nylon cashmere. So again, really lovely soft yarn, beautiful colours. I got two of them. She calls this yarn her Bee Luscious yarn. Yeah, that's lovely. I do like purple. And then I was really drawn to this one as well. Again, this is the same kind of yarn, 80% merino, 10% nylon, 10% cashmere, but this is in DK weight. And it's lovely, pale, speckly, kind of blush and blue. Really pretty. So I've got two of them as well. So in DK, yeah, that would be nice as well, wouldn't it? Either a hat or a cowl. Big shawl. or a chunky shawl, you know, being DK. So yeah, really pleased. I haven't bought yarn for a long time, so I just thought I've got to get that, especially when it's in the sale. So I've talked about my cardigans, my mittens. Then I think a few podcasts ago I spoke about, actually let me just go back a little bit. I just want to show you this bag. This is what the navy cardigan was in. This is in a lovely Betsy Makes, sort of like a tote bag. I think this was just a one-off, and it's such a handy cotton bag that you can fit blanket or jumper in. Yeah, I love Betsy Makes, love Sam, and I've got so many of her projects or project bags. Yeah, the next thing I want to talk about is in a handmade bag I made, and I made this following Ali's tutorial during her, oh my words today, you know, when she encourages people to make their own project bags. What's that called? I can't remember. Anyway, I made this out of a couple of fat quarters. Such a fantastic tutorial Ali's got on her site. She's got one for a zipped bag as well. I put this in the wrong place. It's really good. So yeah, a few podcasts ago I mentioned that I'd won some lovely yarn. And it's this crazy Zauber ball. So it's sock yarn. And it's this sort of real twisted, mild looking yarn. So I haven't cast on a sock all year. I just thought this would be perfect for socks. So I've made a start. And it's lovely. It's lovely to work with. So I've done a 1x1 twisted rib, which I quite like doing. And then rather than just doing a plain sock, which I probably was going to do, I thought, oh, I'm going to use the vanilla latte sock pattern, which is really lovely, and it is just knits and some pearls, but just gives that extra bit of stretch. Yeah, it's lovely. It's really lovely working on it, and like I say, the whole thing with stripy socks. You know, you're looking forward to doing the next stripe, but it's quite like a fade. You know, it's really done subtly. Don't realise sometimes that it's changing colour. But yeah, lovely yarn. Anyone else use this yarn before? Yeah, it was nice, really quick and easy. Nice to make. Start making a sock. I think I'm at the point where I'll probably put the heel in now. What have I done? I've done 15 rows for the cuff and 30 rows for the leg, and I use 2.5 higher sharps on magic loop. That's my preferred way of making socks. So yeah, that's been nice to do a bit of easy knitting. My little handmade bag. Last time as well, I spoke about a 6 bucket list of projects for 2021, and I'd mentioned I was going to make a crochet blanket for a friend, and I've nearly finished it, and I'm really pleased. Now, when I started making this, I was really inspired by a couple of people. Let me just get to the page. A couple of people on Instagram. Crochet K is one of them. Handmade in Marbella is another one. And a lot of their most recent crochet blankets are a real mixture of some crochet squares, crochet just going round and round, all different sort of aspects of crochet skills, and it just makes the blankets look amazing. So my friend wanted it in greys and yellows. I got all the yarn from Hobbycraft, and I had a couple of Stylecraft Special DK yarn as well. Oh, it's so lovely. It's worked up. Well, I looked back, I started this in June, so it's taken me a couple of months. So I started off by just doing some squares, as in stripy granny squares. I made 4 of those and joined them together. and then around the edge of those I did some plain squares, and then around the edge of them I did some stripes. So I'll stand up to show you it in the full because it's big. Whoops. Yeah. You get the gist. It's lovely. So yeah, the colours are all various. In fact, I've written the colours down. I'm not very good at finding things today, so sorry. Yeah, so the Stylecraft Special DK is the two sort of bright yellows. One is dandelion and one is mustard. I think that's the mustard, that's the dandelion. And then the Women's Institute yarn from Hobbycraft is this grey and then the dark grey. And the lighter colours, so it's like quite a cream and like a lemony colour. They're from Hayfield Bonus DK, Primrose, and I think that's Primrose and that's Aran. And again, all from Hobbycraft. Really reasonably priced yarn. The Women's Institute yarn is always buy two, get one for 3 for 2. I'm so pleased with it. Just feels different from anything I've made before, you know, just with these different types of squares. Originally, I was just going to make all big squares, but I'm really pleased I've done this lovely big border. But the next thing left to do, I've literally got this left, and what I want to do is to add, and I don't know if I can do this, but add a front and back post treble edge. I think I've probably got to do an edge of doubles or trebles first, and then yeah, I think that would just give a really lovely squidgy edge. I don't know how many rounds I'll get out of this. I think it takes about 20 grams to go round once. So yeah, I should get a few rounds of that. So yes, I've nearly finished one of my Make 6, and I'm really, really pleased. That might be a nice thumbnail. It probably won't be that one. I've been trying to take my own, the last podcast, tried to take my own thumbnail to add on once I'm editing and putting all the details in the box below. But yeah, if it could take a nice picture, that would be nicer, wouldn't it? Or easier. So yeah, really, really pleased with that. And then yesterday on Instagram, I was having a little look and I came across, you know, the designer that did Sophie's Universe blanket. Let me just find her. It's Dedry Barberton, no, what's her name? Barberton Daisy on Instagram. And she's been mentioning a new cowl, like a crochet along that she's doing, another massive blanket, and it's called the Charlotte's Universe. And it looks lovely, and it's a free pattern. You just go to her Instagram and her profile. I'm trying to see if there's a picture of one that might come up. Yeah, so I love things like this, just with, you know, different aspects to the blanket. Ages ago I made the Atlanticus blanket, which again was a real project, put a lot of time and effort into that and learnt loads of new skills. So yeah, when I saw this, I've always wanted to make the Sophie's Universe one, but I thought, oh, there's a new one. And I've never really made blankets to have out. You know, I've ended up making loads of sort of scrappy blankets that are really brightly coloured that don't necessarily go with... Oh, can you see the birds in the garden? Who's that? Pigeon. Yeah, so I wanted it to be quite muted. So I just went through bits and bobs that I had. And I thought, our room's quite sort of blue, grey, quite muted colours. So I just thought I might make something like that. Yeah, it'd be nice just to have a big long-term project to work on. I just need to get probably a bit more yarn, but I thought, well, we'll use up bits and bobs I've got. Yeah, has anyone else made the Sophie's Universe? I know lots of people have. Just wondered how you found it. But it looks quite good, this Charlotte's one. Lots of instructions, lots of links to videos and pictures. Yeah, that'd be a real lovely challenge and a lovely achievement to make a lovely big blanket. The other day I taught a friend how to crochet, and it was so lovely. And she is now, really obsessed and enjoying it. So it's so nice, isn't it, to spread the love of crochet. And has everyone been watching the Olympics with Tom Daley? He's been knitting and crocheting, and it's so lovely to see it exposed. I think that's probably all my things I've been working on. I am still working on the rosary jumper. I won't show you it because I haven't really done much more. I've nearly finished one sleeve, and then I've got to do another sleeve, and I'm still a little bit anxious about that, about joining it all together, because it's a jumper that's made in parts. So the only other thing I think I wanted to speak about was books. I don't know if I've shown you these hooks before as well. I've just realised I've dropped them out of the bag and I can't remember which is for which. But I use these Addy Swing. I find them really nice to hold. Don't know if I've mentioned that before. So I was watching Ali's podcast. It's getting a bit hot here. Let me turn around, move around a bit. And she always speaks about the books she's been reading, but how she can't always remember what she's read, or she doesn't always keep a log of which ones or what those books were about. And I just wanted to show you what I've been doing for the last few years. So it's a scruffy old book. It's a book that I had when I was in school, a homework book. It's falling apart, but I can't bear to throw away paper, so I like to use every little bit of paper up. And so since 2019, I've been writing down every single book that I've read with a little description. Because especially if someone says, "Oh, you read any good books lately?" I can't remember even the title of that book. So this is a really good way to look back. So in 2019, I read 16 books, and in 2020, I read 13. But this year, I've read quite a lot already. And in the last few books I've read, every book has been fantastic. And my friend lost her mum last year, and she said I could have some of her books, and I just picked a few up, and they've been so amazing. When you really absolutely love a book. So the ones I really enjoyed, there is a book called, oh no, what have I done? I've not written the author. That's silly. I don't normally do that. The one book was called The Snow Rose. That was quite a good book. And then I read a fantastic book called The Angel Tree by Lucinda Riley. And I loved it so much that me and Ali, we met recently. We went to a bookshop, and I've had to get another one of these Lucinda Riley books. So this is a series, Lucinda Riley, The Seven Sisters, and this is the first one in a series. And I've just bought my friend who has read all of them. I'm sure there's about 7 or 8, there's loads. But I know it's a big book, but from that last one, it was just amazing. Yeah, it was, I don't even know how to describe it. And it might put people off if you describe it. If I said it was a family saga, some people might not be into that, but it just really sucked me in. I absolutely loved it. And I read another really fantastic book called Larkswood by Valerie Mendez. And her son is Sam Mendez. I think he's like a film director. That book was amazing. So I'll put a few links below for those books that I've read recently. But I just wondered, does anyone else do this? because my memory is so bad. It's so nice to look back, and especially when I've put things were really good, or I had a spell, I think it was last year, every book, you know, for about 6 books on the trot, I just put depressing, boring, couldn't finish it. It's horrible, isn't it? And I love reading, and then you have a spell where everything is amazing, and you just absolutely love reading, want to read every opportunity. So yeah, I read another lovely book actually. The last one I read was called The Readers of Broken Wheel Recommend by Katarina Bivald. That was a beautiful book. It was lovely. So I might just put some links below, because there's some fantastic books I've read recently. And it's nice just to share that, isn't it, when you know it's been recommended. So I think that's probably it. Yeah, that's everything I brought down to show you. All my things I'm sort of in the middle of making or finished. Yeah, and hope that was okay. I've decided not to do sewing for a little while because I've got so many dresses, I just need to wear them. So I'm really focusing on my knitting and my crochet. I really do need to work on that knitted rosary jumper, because before long it's going to be autumn, and that will be lovely to wear. Yeah, so hope you enjoyed. Please leave me a comment if you want to chat. Follow, subscribe, whatever you fancy doing. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me and watching. And hopefully I'll see you in a few weeks. Okay, loves. Bye.